Hello, guys, and welcome to this episode of the Closers Podcast. I'm your host, Marco Alvarado. Joined with me today is my co-host, Quinn Kalani. How are you doing?
I'm doing solid, Marco. How about yourself?
Pretty good, man. I'm really excited about our guest today. But before we get to him, I just got to say, please follow us on Instagram at the Closers Podcast, on Facebook at Closers Podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the bell just so that you can make sure to get notified whenever we drop a new video. Our guest today is Austin Maynard, a Sacramento real estate agent. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. No complaints. Just got to make the best of every day, and we're keep on going.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's all about. Especially like during this whole pandemic situation, I can imagine it's been a little tricky in your line of work.
It's been weird. I mean, because our whole industry is like meeting people, showing houses, open houses. It's a person to person, business.
Yeah.
We had to change what we do a little bit, and a lot of people aren't working, and a lot of people are. So we're not really talking to a lot of people face to face. Everywhere we go, there's a mask on our face, gloves on our hands when we show a house.
Yeah.
I'm just thankful that we're still able to work and we can make some adjustments to make it happen.
Yeah, makes sense.
How do you feel about the, because California is kind of on its way of reopening slowly, but it's taking steps.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Do you think it's a little too soon, or do you think it's like it makes sense to kind of just try to?
I personally think it makes sense, just because I think the goal of going into quarantine or the shelter in place was to flatten the curve.
Right.
And we flattened it. It's done, So now the longer we do it, I think it's hurting us more financially than it is with the virus. Because if you look at the virus, the death rate is less than 1% and less than 1% by a lot. So I think it should be up to us now. Of course, if you got like health conditions that you're worried about, stay inside. Of course, I'm not going to go outside with no mask and like just, get the virus, but we can't just keep staying in there forever. I think it's more financially than it would, health-wise.
Yeah, I would agree. It seems like now we're starting to transition into this period to where, the government's taking a step back, and what needs to happen is more personal accountability. You know, like you were saying, Austin, if you are sick, if you are ill, then it's, incumbent upon yourself to remove yourself from society. That way, the market can pick back up,
Because it's been good for me actually, because I never did stocks in my life. I would never.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was never my thing. And then when this happened, I was like, well, I got more time now because I'm not doing as much in real estate. So I saw the market keep going up and down. And I was like, I'll just put some money in there, see what happens. And then it started growing. And I was like, okay, so I kept putting more and more in there. And it's capitalized so much to where I was like, I love it. But, I think as a whole in society, we have to open things back up for that reason, to because businesses are going out of business. We're losing jobs. It could get out of hand if we don't start picking things up a little bit, I think.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, you've already seen unemployment enrollment go through the roof just in the past 2 months, and, the stimulus checks and all this stuff. Definitely unprecedented times, at least for people that are alive today. It's not like this hasn't happened in the past, but for nobody's really dealt with this sort of thing before. So it is
certainly
really
in our time.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you would think though, because of technology, that like things would be like easier, and maybe they are because of Amazon. You're able to like just order things online, but it really feels like, I don't know, like maybe people just nowadays aren't necessarily like mentally tough enough to handle these sort of situations.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I can tell you guys a funny story of what happened when everything first started happening.
Yeah.
We went into a shelter in place, and I'm a hard worker, I feel like. So I was still doing my thing, still working. And I was canvassing, passing out flyers door to door, but I didn't want to knock because I knew it was kind of an uncertain time and I didn't want to get that close to people. So I was just leaving it on their door. And I left it on their door, and then I get a Facebook post and it says like, "Oh, Austin Maynard, I'm very perturbed at him for leaving this on my door because of this, of everything going on, and I could have walked outside the same time he left the flyer, and like just like that's right." And I'm just like, okay, so all these comments were on here like, okay, well, I hope you're not going to get your mail, and I hope you're not, ordering on Amazon. I hope you're not doing this because they're doing the same thing I'm doing, right? They're just leaving it on your door. So I feel like either some people just don't care and like don't wear masks, don't care, like it's whatever. And then there's people like won't leave their house. And I'm like, okay, but you got to live too. Like I get paid every 2 weeks, right? I only get paid when I sell a house. So I can't stop what I'm doing. I can't get unemployment because I'm 1099. So I don't work. I don't get paid at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So we got to understand, like, we're out here wanting to support local businesses, but a lot of these people like that have my jobs and jobs like mine are technically considered a local business. So I think we have to understand that there's more than just your local cafe and your local, businesses out there.
Restaurants and stuff. Yeah.
Your mom and pop store.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think there's definitely I know there's definitely been a change within myself. When this first started happening, for like the first week, I would wear a face mask. I'd go on a jog or a run or something, or if I'd go to the grocery store. Now, nah, bro, no face mask for me.
I'm the same way, but
they're not big nose friendly.
Every time I talk, it falls off. I'm like, all right.
Oh, dude, it's terrible. Just smushes my nose like right up to my mouth. It sucks, dude.
The worst is when you got to sneeze too. It's like, okay, what do I do? Am I sneezing
in your mouth? Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm not trying to do that. But at the same time, I take it off and sneeze. That looks bad. So it's just like you're fucked either way.
Yeah. I love all the memes that go around, because there was one in the, like, all these people wear their mask in the car. Then it's this meme, and it was like, that's like wearing your condom to bed without just like, you're already like in the car, you're fine.
I know. Yeah.
Yes. So I do love all the memes out there. Like, they're hecka funny. I love it though.
Yeah. The quarantine memes. That's the thing. I mean, say what you want about our generation, but we definitely know how to make a good meme. Tell a good joke. We could definitely do that right.
That's our contribution.
We'll make a joke and then we'll get sensitive about it sometimes. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, you could get sensitive about it both ways. And then some people get sensitive about others being sensitive. So it's just like, a bunch of emotions.
Yeah, it is. I agree.
But I'm curious though. So you're a very business-minded person. You like you said, you are into stocks now, and you do real estate. You're a real estate agent. So where did that begin for you? Where did that kind of business mentality come from?
I think I truly believe like your habits are built within the first 10 years you were born, around there. So growing up, like if I wanted something, I had to get the money to do it. Right. So I was out like selling stuff at school, like baseball cards, like packs of 20 for $1, stuff like that. And my cousin was there with me. We would do it together. So it was like we were both business minded people. But growing up, if we wanted, food after school or something, it was like, all right, well, you better find the buck to do it. So it was, selling Hot Wheels, baseball cards, lemonade stands. And then still growing up, it's still like that. It's like, all right, if you want something, you gotta earn it. Because growing up, nothing was a handout, and it's still. That's how I think it should be. Is I think you should have to work for what you want, and what to do that you have to work hard. So I think it's something that everyone should realize and understand, and I think it's a good quality to have. So I think that's where it came from in middle school and elementary school, kind of doing that fun stuff, which I thought was super cool. But
that is cool. Yeah.
I like money, and I don't mean that you can take that the right way or the wrong way, but money doesn't buy you happiness. I believe that, but money can buy you a lot of things that put towards your happiness.
Money does help.
Yeah, I think overall, you have to have a good mind and knowledge about not money, but life, how you go about life and everything. And then money just comes, you know.
Yeah.
I I do a lot of reading too. So these books that I read are all like self-growth.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone talks about, like, for example, the Go Giver. I just finished that book like a couple of weeks ago, and
Uh-huh.
it talks about you're giving, but the guy that's giving, that says to give, he's like, well, if I'm giving, how am I getting? You know, I'm not
Yeah.
getting anything if I'm just giving. But the way that nature is and the way that things work, it's just, if you give, you'll get, you know, like, and I truly believe that if you give to someone, you'll get. Maybe not to that same exact person, they might not give you
Mhm.
something,
Yeah.
but I believe in karma, and if you get positive karma out there, you'll get some good karma back. So I think
Yeah.
that's, yeah.
Yeah.
Give
That
what you give, man.
that is very interesting.
Yeah.
Because I feel like too, when you give and you just are always giving, um, that's a good way to make connections with people just in general. And connections are everything when it comes to business, I
Mhm.
believe. So I mean, it makes sense.
Of course, it's all about who you know,
Yeah.
in business, you know, and if you know the right people, they can take you a long way. And it's all about like the right timing too. So I just partnered up with my real estate team. I made a real estate team with one of my buddies that's been in real estate for 22 years.
Oh wow.
And it all happened so suddenly. Like, I didn't expect this to happen. So I read the book, The Third Door, about a month ago. And The Third Door, there's always three. It's a cool book. It's by Alex Banayan. You should read it. It's one of my favorite books. So the
Uh-huh.
third door, the whole concept is, there's the first door. So you're going to a nightclub. There's three doors. One is where 99.9% of the people go.
Mhm.
Signs wrapped around the corner. It takes hours to get into the club, right?
Yeah.
The second door is the VIP, where um, you have to be rich, famous. You got to be somebody to
Yeah.
get in, right? But the
Mhm.
third door is the coolest door. So he says the third door is, you jump out of line, you run down, you go to the kitchen, you bang on the door 100 times till someone opens, then you jump through the window, and like, you do everything you can to get into the club, right?
Yeah.
Didn't pay, but you do everything you can to get in. And that's how it happened. And once that happens, you can do anything you want in your life. And so in the book, he gets a mentor, and everything like fell into place through, everything that happens. And that kind of
Yeah.
happened in my life right after I read that book. So
Oh
like,
really?
yeah. So I was thinking like, God, in real estate, especially right now, I'm like, God, everything's kind of taking a tank. What am I gonna do? Or, I'm kind of hurting. Like,
Mhm.
my business isn't how it was. And then I started doing everything I could to get my business. Now my business is better than it was before this coronavirus.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
just doing better. But then, like I said, going back to that book,
Mhm.
I to one of these guys in real estate in my office that's been in the business for about 20 years,
Yeah.
and we decided to partner up. And he was, he's like my mentor and my coach, but we're also a team in real estate. And so it's
Uh-huh.
weird how you think something, you read that book and you're thinking, and then a month later it happens. It's just weird how nature works. It truly is. It's like law of attraction. If
Mhm.
positive, your life will be positive. If you think negative, your life will be negative.
Yeah.
So law of attraction, I think, has a tremendous, tremendous part in your life, I think.
Yeah.
Mm. It seems like you've kind of manifested your own reality. You know what I'm saying? It seems like you've been hustling from an early age. You've been grinding and working hard, and that's manifested into the achievements and success you're having today.
Yeah, agreed. It takes a lot of, because and with anybody, if you look at how successful they are, unless they, were given money from their mom and dad or whatever, but any self-made millionaire, for
Yeah.
3/4 of their life, they were hustling and they didn't have millions of dollars. They were working in a basement. That's how Google, Amazon, all these companies started, was from the bottom. But it takes all those bumps in the road and all those journeys you got to overcome to make those millions. But people just see the millions, but that's not what it's about,
Mm.
about the journey,
They
not the destination.
they don't see the
Yeah.
hard work.
Exactly. They don't see the 20-hour work days, 7 days a week. They don't see, people telling them no thousands of times a day. They don't
Yeah.
see all that. They just see Amazon's the number one company in the world, or whatever it is.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
Mm.
What?
What sort of hurdles have you had to overcome? You just referenced, hearing no thousands of times. What sort of no's have you had to overcome to get to where you are today?
Well, first, when I took my real estate, I took it very young, my real estate exam. I took it when I was 18,
Mm.
which kind of, you don't hear that too much, but I failed 2 times and I passed my third. So I studied for hours. I tell you, like days on days on days for this test. I took it, failed. And I was like, that's when you start thinking, you're like, okay, is this worth it? Like I haven't even graduated high school yet. Should
Yeah.
am I really doing what I should be doing right now? Or am I
Yeah.
kind of going over the lines a little bit, And then so my mentor at the time was saying like, no, go back, take it, go back, take it. You're dumb if you don't go back and take it. So I was like, all right, scheduled it again, studied again, went back and took it, failed again. I was like, all right, all right. I was like, okay, maybe I should wait a little bit. Like, maybe this isn't the right time. Maybe I should just wait till I graduate or whatever it is. And he said, no, you were literally so close. Just go take it again. You know the questions more now. You have a better chance of passing.
Yeah.
Third time I took it, and it's weird when you walk in there and take the test. So you walk in there, you put your hands like this, like you're going like into security. They're like making sure you don't got nothing.
Oh,
And
no notes or anything.
yeah, nothing. You don't got anything.
Yeah.
And then it's timed. People, when you're taking it, it's on a computer, but she looks at you like this the whole time. She's like making sure you don't cheat. And you like, so someone watching you, you're like,
Yeah, that's
so,
weird.
So then the third time, I passed, and I was like, all right. And then when you pass, you think like, that's it. I'm ready. I'm ready to make some money. No, no. So then now you don't know anyone. You don't know anyone trying to buy a house, especially because you're 18. Everyone you talk to says you're too young to be selling a $500,000 house. Just you could think of some things that you would say to an 18-year-old if they're trying to sell your house or.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So there was a lot of stuff I went through, like everything you could think of that I went through that is just like, no, 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 no. And then you get one yes, that's all you need. Right. So that's kind of my slogan now is all you need is one. All you need is one yes. Every no is one step closer to a yes. So,
That is true. Yeah. Well, I know that it takes a support system to help you through those times where you get told no, 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 no. Could you talk to us a little bit about like how you've met? Because you can talk about your mentors and stuff, and they've definitely been part of your support system, I can imagine. How did you meet them?
So my first mentor, they actually, when you join the company I'm with, Lion Real Estate, they make you go into that mentor class. So it's a class 3 times a week for an hour, and he talks to you about real estate for an hour. And so in order to work there, I had to do that. It wasn't a choice.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't a choice. Yeah. So I did that, and I'm super glad I did. I learned so much from it. And then I did that for a year of going to those classes and everything, which helped. And then after that, it was just more of like family, like, my mom and my dad. I have a supportive family. They helped me, were super proud of me and kept me going because it wasn't more of them like saying supportive words, which they would, but it was more of like, I can't let them down. Like I know that in 10 years, I want to be able to provide and buy my mom a house or take my dad on a vacation or like something like that, to where it's like, you took care of me. Now it's my turn to take care of you. So having that motivation in my head was the only support I needed to keep going, because not only and there's this saying, it's like, not only do I do it for them, like, to support them and everything, but over anything and over any of that, you should be doing it for yourself. Right. So if you don't love yourself enough to be successful, you can't love your mom and dad enough to be successful, because no matter how much we want to deny it, we love ourselves the most out of anyone. Right. No matter if you want to deny that or not, we're selfish. As humans, we're selfish. Right. So if you can't love yourself enough to be successful, you can't say you're going to do it for your mom and your dad, and give back to them. You got to do it for yourself first before you can do it for them.
Yeah, I would agree with that, man. It seems like you're a very goal-oriented person. And we talked about this 2 episodes, the importance of having goals, especially in a time like this, man. How is having goals seemingly, throughout your life, how is having that thing to strive for, how has that helped get you to where you are?
Yeah. So, well, I feel like if you don't have goals, you can't achieve anything, you know? So I'm like, as stupid as that sounds, like if you don't got a goal, you can't achieve, you're not achieving anything. Right.
Yeah.
So, um, another thing that I'm really big on now is the reward system. So, you know, when I do something good, I reward myself. I'm kind of like a dog, like,
Yeah.
good job. Here's a treat, like, you know, but when you reward yourself and it makes you keep going. So when I reach my goal of, say, I want to sell 5 houses in the first 6 months or 12 houses in the year or whatever, and I meet that goal, then it's like, okay, so now here's my reward. Now I'm going to go on a trip to Hawaii, or I'm going to go on a trip to whatever. And then you enjoy that trip to Hawaii because you're like, I met my goal to go here. You know, I
Yeah.
rewarding myself to go here. It's not like I missed it, but I'm very strict too. So if I sell 11 houses instead of 12, I'm not going to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Right. And I have a strict, like, my mentor showed me this. I have a strict business plan that shows really in depth what I have to sell each month, each house, to get paid what I need to get paid to reach my goal.
Right.
So having that is like down to the T, right? So you need a goal, and then you need a game plan. Without your game plan, you can't reach your goal. Without your goal, you can't have a game plan, right? So it's kind of like all twining in together. But without one, it's like a puzzle. If you don't have one, you can't connect the other pieces. So, but I'm really big on reward system. So, you know, if you do something good, reward yourself. And a lot of people out there, I used to do this too, is I would just want to work 24/7. And I would be like, I don't deserve to be rewarded because I need to keep working. But you need to find that balance to where you're work hard, play hard, right? So, another super cool thing that I actually learned the other day, share with you guys, is the envelope. It's called the envelope method. So the way that I work hard, play hard, is every time I get paid, I put it into an envelope method. So I have every time you get paid, you put 20% and put it in a savings. That's the money you invest. That's the money you do everything. 20%. You take that out before you take anything. You take that out before you pay your rent. Right? Strict. You take that out before anything. Then you have your envelopes where you pay your rent, your car, your phone, your food, every single thing. You put that away every time you get paid in the envelope, how much it is. And then whatever you have left, you spend on you. You spend it. You know, sure, you're being smart with your envelopes and you got everything covered, but after that, you just spend it. Go buy a new suit, or go buy a new pair of shoes, or put it in a travel envelope. So at the end of the year, you can spend it and go on a trip, because that's rewarding yourself to want to keep going and make more money and push. And, so I think that's what I just started doing it, and I'm in love with it. But I think that's cool. Yeah.
That's really cool. Sorry, Quinn, to step on you real quick, but I just wanted to say, like, I think humans in general, just like how we are selfish, just inherently, I think we also desire structure, and the methods that you're talking about definitely give structure to your life in general. And I think that also adds to like a positive mindset when you kind of know you have everything segmented out already for yourself. But it also takes discipline. So I was curious, how would you have you instilled discipline in yourself, and like how could people kind of work on that for themselves as well?
Well, I think we all have to understand that no one's perfect. Because I feel like people, when they think of discipline and doing something, it has to be 100% of the time. So if they don't do it one day, they'll just stop doing it. And that's what makes them not successful, or not, where they want to be, is because after one day of not doing it, they stop. Right. So discipline, I wouldn't say, is necessarily you do something 100% of the time, but it's something that you create a habit, and you do it more than you don't do it. Right.
Yeah.
So maybe not necessarily something you do every single time, but it's something you do more than you don't do it. And I think you can put that discipline in you by not rewarding yourself. Right. So like, I go back, if I don't reach my goal, I don't reward myself. I'm like my dad. I'm like my own dad. Like, if you don't get good grades, you're not getting, an allowance or whatever stupid thing it is. Right.
Yeah.
But I'm like that on myself. And there's the book called The Power of Habit, which is a great book, and it kind of explains you how to build habits. And that book kind of helped me I think I read like half the book too. And after half the book, I was like, all right, let's do it. But reading that is like cool because it shows you like what makes a habit. Like, did you know that in the book it talks about, did you know that toothpaste isn't actually mint flavored? It's just plain flavor, but they put the mint in it so that you go back to it and build the habit of, because you want to make your breath smell like that.
I did not know that.
It makes your breath feel like it's clean. But without that mint, it would do the same thing. But we like the mint because it makes us feel like it's clean.
Yeah, it's more mental. It's all up here.
Yeah, everything's mental in our life. Our brain is the most powerful muscle. So once you have control over your brain, you have control over the world, I feel like. So anything that you can think of, you can do. Anything that you want to do is all here and not really necessarily in your body.
It also seems like, having structure and goals and stuff is important in building confidence within yourself. Having the structure to achieve those goals allows you to build confidence to achieve greater goals and higher ambitions.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. That's actually a really good point. I agree with you on that. I think it's kind of like the stair method where like you take a step by step by step.
Yeah.
You have your long-term goals of like, oh, I want to be a multimillionaire. But then you have your goal of like, okay, I want to sell one house this month. So when you have that mini goal of I want to sell a house a month, it just goes boom, 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 boom. And then you get to your major goal. If we really look at here, you just get overwhelmed, right? You just like, I'm so far away from being that goal to where you really just got to focus on like the little, like, okay, this is what I need to do now. And then I'll go here and then I'll go here. Taking it step by step makes your mind a lot like, oh my God, so much that I need to accomplish, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Managing your expectations. You're not going to take over the world tomorrow. But you might be able to take over your block. And then, your neighborhood and then your city.
Patience.
Patience.
Patience. I really need to work on because I'm like, let's go. But you just got to realize that this doesn't happen overnight. It's more about building an empire than a city. If you build an empire, it takes a long time. If you build a city, it takes a couple of years. So once you get that in your head, installed in your head, that I'm here to build a legacy and not necessarily a town, you'll go a long way.
Yeah. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah.
Man, I forgot what I was going to say. I had a really good question, but I forgot. But Quinn, do you have anything?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. So, what has kept you in the Sacramento area, as you've begun to grow and flourish? A lot of people, they leave, they kind of leave the nest. You know what I'm saying? They go somewhere else to find themselves. What has kept you in Sacramento? What has Sacramento meant to you? And what are your future plans for Sacramento, man?
So good. That's a good question, actually. So I think the reason why I'm in Sacramento is because I wasn't born in Sacramento. I was born in a very, very small town called Arnold. It's like 3,000 people.
I think I know where Arnold is. Wait a second. I was born in Angels Camp.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not far from Arnold, is it?
Yeah, that's small world. Like,
yeah.
So my mom lives there right now, actually, in Angels.
Shout out, man. Calaveras County.
The little town right there, huh? All 10,000 people in Calaveras County. But I lived there till I was 13, moving around all in Calaveras County till I was 13. And then I had to move in with my dad who lived in Sacramento. And so at 13, I moved to Sacramento. And I went from a 3,000 people town to a 500,000 people town. So I was like, wow. Like,
it's a culture shock.
That's insane. I was like, there's like buildings higher than 2 stories. Like, there's like a river, like with a bridge. Like, wow, like this is crazy. Like there's people here. So having that, I still think I kind of hold the mindset of like, I can accomplish the world in Sacramento. Now I know there's bigger cities out there, but I feel like I've grown to love Sacramento to where I got family here to where I'm still close to Angels, like an hour and a half to where I can see my mom. I'm super close to my dad. I go to school at Sac State.
Nice.
I feel like I've grown, like I talk about, I feel like I'm growing my empire in Sacramento to where I don't want to leave it and have to start. Um, and when I got my real estate license, that kind of put me in Sacramento and made me stay there. I was like, all right, now I'm staying here. And your license is good in all over California. So I talk about my legacy. I want to sell homes all over California. I want to invest in real estate all over the world. I want to travel the world.
Yeah.
My partner for real estate says, make the world your playground. Make your money here. America is where you make the most money, but spend it all over the world. All over the world, it's so cheap to go on vacation. People think it's so expensive. It's so cheap.
Yeah.
It is so cheap, dude.
So cheap compared to here.
Yeah.
But make the world your playground and all that. So I think I just love Sacramento. I've gotten to love it, and my plans here are to be the number one agent in Sacramento and build my team that we have now to be a legacy all over California. And I think I'll stay here the rest of my life. I do.
That's really cool. And I think also me and Quinn have talked about this on previous podcasts, but I'm curious your thoughts of Sacramento as like fertile ground for California, because it's getting so expensive everywhere else in the state. I mean, it's getting more expensive here too to live, but like I think there's a lot of people in the early 2000s that moved from the Bay Area to Sacramento, and with the new stadium being built for the MLS team that we're getting, like Sacramento is getting more and more like noticed across the country, really. Do you think is that also part of the reason why you're considering just like staying here and why you see it as a good opportunity?
110%. Yeah. So, and when I tell my potential buyers or whatever, to move to Sacramento, or if they're thinking about moving in Sacramento, that's the first thing I bring up. I'm like, over the past 10 years, Sacramento has grown so much.
Yeah.
So much. And in the next 10 years, I can't even imagine where it's going to be. So for me to say that I've been in Sacramento to where it is right now, compared to in 30 years, when I still live in Sacramento and it is right there, I could be like, I was part of that. I was part
of the
of
growth.
That growth and being there. And to be part of that, I think is really cool. Because if you go to like LA or something, I love LA, but like you're not going to change the growth over there. Like,
it's already grown.
Act on there. But in Sacramento, you can be like, oh, I had part of that. Like I sold tens of thousands of homes over this time to grow Sacramento. And like, I think just the potential here is just insane. I think it will be the next major city, 100%. Especially with this new MLS stadium coming in. We just had Boco built. We just had Golden One. The Kings are staying. We got a AAA baseball team here. There's so much, and there's so much more room to grow. I'd put my money on in 10 years, it'll be way bigger than it is now.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly.
What are some of the qualities about Sacramento that you like, as opposed to other cities, maybe in California or other places you visited?
Dang, that's tough. Qualities, I would say, like, I kind of like how there's all aspects of, I like diversity, and I do, like I love all types of food. I love all cultures. I love everything. Right. So Sacramento is like, I know you can get that in LA and everything, but like I explained before on why I like to stay here, but we also have that diversity here to where we still have like old Sacramento to where it's like kind of like Western a little bit. Then we got downtown where it's like modern, hip, like whatever. We got all cultures. We're super diversified, and I love that. Like in Natomas, where I work, actually, Intercom High School is like one of the number one diverse high schools in the nation. So that just shows us how diverse Sacramento really is, and I love that. So I would say that's probably the number one quality.
Yeah. What I still love about Sacramento County is the personableness of the people that live here. There's not a disconnect. There's not a standoffness. You can make small talk with your 7-Eleven clerk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's something that I love about Sacramento. You know, it still has a small town kind of feel, you know.
Yeah.
There's still a community within Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Another thing that I like too is, and I say this to my potential buyers that are wanting to move here too, is we're in the middle of everything. You want to drive to the beach, we're there. You want to drive to the snow, we're there. You want to drive to, anywhere, we're in the middle, right? So you're not too far from anything, So LA, you got to drive pretty far to go to the snow or something, whatever it is. But yeah, we're in the middle of everything, which I love, because we can go see the beach, then one day, and then go to Tahoe the next, and we're center ground for everything.
Yeah, the central hub, man.
Yeah, that's right.
And the airport is supposed to be expanding too, from what I've heard, I think. So it'll be easier to get into Sacramento and flying to different parts of the world too.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it at least has been proposed, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Good though.
But yeah, so kind of switching gears a little bit. Well, a little bit. I mean, we mentioned MLS, but you did say that you're kind of you do like sports. You enjoy. We do as well. So what are your teams? Do you have like favorite teams, or do you just watch sports in general?
No, so my teams are the main three sports I watch: baseball, basketball, football. I played those in high school. My team for baseball is San Francisco Giants. Football is 49ers, and basketball is Sacramento Kings.
Gotcha.
Yeah. What about you guys?
Well, I'm pretty much a two-sport guy. You know, I follow a lot of UFC, a lot of MMA, which, Sacramento has such a rich history in MMA, UFC, especially with Uriah Faber, Team Alpha Male, stuff like that. And I'm a big LA Rams fan. I'm not a particularly big Southern California fan. But when I moved out of Angels Camp when I was like 8, it was around 97, 98, right around when the Rams left California.
Gotcha.
So I found just kind of like a common ally in the Rams. So I'm a Rams fan and a UFC fan. I'm starting to get into the Kings.
Into it, man. Yep. That's right.
Yeah.
We haven't won it yet, but one's coming. I'm telling you.
I know. Well, we got screwed in what was it? 01, 02?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. Yeah. But yeah, I'm a Raiders fan, an A's fan, and like a Sharks fan.
Sharks, I like the Sharks too.
Yeah. And then I watch like whatever.
Yeah, I don't really watch hockey like that, but like if I picked a team, it'd be the Sharks. Although I did hear, I've never been to a hockey game, but I did hear, I've been to like a Giants playoff game, football games. I did hear it was the best sport to go to an actual live game at.
Oh,
yeah.
It's insane. Hockey is so fun. It could be like the two like worst teams in the NHL, and you're watching them, and it's just intense. It's so intense because things just move so fast. It's just like it's like watching lightning just like constantly just like hit a pole. It's just like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? But yeah, what are your thoughts about like the NBA coming back? Because I've heard some things. I don't know if you've heard how they were thinking about doing like a bubble system in like Orlando, where like all the teams are just in Orlando, like in Disney World, and they just play each other for the playoffs there instead of like having it in individual cities. Do you think that that's kind of what they should do, or should they try to push it in a different direction? I don't know if you have an opinion on that, but
so here's my thing, I guess, is I would rather have them go to one spot and finish the season than not finish the season. But I do feel like they should just go back to how it was. Like, it's just, my thing is do what you want. If the players don't want to play, don't play. I think that's anything outside of sports, anything. Let's go back to normal. And as a person, you decide if you want to do something or not, right? So if these NBA players don't want to play, then don't play, stay out the game. But I think we should just go back to how it was and, finish the season, all sports. And if the fans, I don't know if fans should be able to go or not. That's kind of whatever. That's, again, I think that's up to you if you want to go. I think the attendance would be a lot lower, but if I was like LeBron James, I wouldn't want to play with no fans either. That's why, that's a big part in why you play is like a community that you have with you and play for is a lot of the reason why you play, right? So I agree with him saying I don't want to play without any fans.
Yeah. I think I'm a no-go on the Orlando bubble, man. If it's not taking place in the city that the team represents, I'm not really for it. We were talking about the economic side of things earlier, man. Bringing back, sports to cities would be such an economic boon for, those cities, man. If we could get the Kings back in, Golden One, get people back in those stands, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It would be great for the city's economy.
And they were thinking too, what I've heard is like, if they don't do the Orlando thing and they just go through with it, just like, they would limit the capacity for every stadium. So it would just, or every arena. So it's working at like 40% capacity. So there's distance between people, even if they're sitting in the stands and stuff. So
and I like that because like, here's my thing is I feel like we're such hypocrites with like things. So like we can go sit in a line at Home Depot and have 100 people waiting in line, or Costco, for example, waiting in line, and then they're 6 feet apart or whatever, if they are 6 feet apart, which probably not. But you can't go sit down at a restaurant with your family, or you can't go to a game and have some seats in between you. Like, how can we go to Home Depot, but we can't go to a restaurant and eat?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand the concept of like, you're saying it's essential and what's not essential, but if we're keeping social distance, I don't think it matters.
That's true.
I think if we're taking the right precautions, I don't think it matters what's essential and what's not. If we're, because here's my thing is, if it's essential, you can still get the coronavirus. Like, just because it's essential, just because it's the grocery store doesn't mean you can't get it. You probably got a higher chance of getting it. So like, being essential doesn't mean you just don't get the coronavirus, So as long as we're taking the right precautions, I feel like just do what you want.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Austin, especially going forward now that things are starting to pick up. Coronavirus is flattening out, like you said. Going forward, I think this is the right way to go.
Yeah. And I do just want to say, I when I'm saying this, I'm not saying we should have done this from the beginning. I'm saying we should do this right now.
Yeah,
exactly. At the beginning, I do think we should have stayed in our house and flattened the curve, done the right thing, or else it would have gotten way out of hand. But right now is when I'm saying, look, okay, now it's just, we got to figure something out. But before, I do want people to know, like, I wasn't wanting to do this from the beginning.
No, that makes sense.
I agree. I think our state has actually done a very good job of, when to tighten things up, when to, buckle down. And now that, things are starting to relax, starting to recover, let's ease back into normality, with the right precautions, like you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because there is such a thing as overdoing it. And just like if California would have listened to the people that didn't want to take any precautions in the beginning, people who want to still hide in their rooms for another 2 months, that's not necessarily the most positive thing. Just like it would have not been the most positive thing to just pretend that coronavirus wasn't a thing in the beginning. So it's all that in between.
And another conversation that I was having with one of my coworkers the other day is, I hope people know that when the shelter in place is over, the coronavirus just doesn't disappear.
Yeah,
right? Exactly. So when our governor or whoever says, "Oh, California, you can open back up," the coronavirus just doesn't go away, guys.
Yeah.
It's still there. So I truly think it'll just be like another flu seasonal thing. And it is what it is. And, if you get it, you're going to be in bed for 3 days with a horrible type of flu, and then you'll be okay. But what I don't want is, I don't think we can just stay in our house for the rest of our lives, because that's what would happen. Yeah. It's going to be coronaviruses for the rest of our life. I truly believe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we also have to pay attention to our mental health, and, to help sustain that, to help that flourish, we have to get out. We have to interact. We have to socialize. We have to get sunlight. You know what I'm saying? Like shutting ourselves in, it does no good for our mental capacities.
Yeah. And you have a good point, because there's like this chart, and I can't say the exact numbers because I don't remember, but there was so many more suicides, anger issues, divorces, all this stuff that plays an emotional effect on for staying in the house long. Yeah. And that number has gotten higher than the actual coronavirus deaths. Like, not only are we hurting our economy now, but we're also killing more people through suicides, all this other stuff than we are actual coronavirus deaths. And not to mention another thing is at least in California, I don't know about other states, but they count everything as a coronavirus death. If you get bitten by a shark and your arm is left and they test it for corona, it's a coronavirus death.
Oh, I see.
So
I didn't know that.
Our number is our number for coronavirus deaths is actually way higher than actually.
Wow.
Because if you have corona and you die, it's considered a death for coronavirus. Even if you got shot in the heart, you would have died anyways, but you had coronavirus death.
Wow.
You know?
That's ridiculous. I did not know that. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. So and my stepmom is a nurse. She works for an ambulance company and everything. So she confirmed that. That's where I got that information from.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
crazy. Yeah.
But we don't know that. A lot of us don't know that part.
Yeah,
so
I didn't know that either. I know, though, my dad was talking to me. He read an article. I forgot where, but if I find it again, I'll put it in the link section. But he was saying that most of the people that they found that have died from coronavirus. Now, after what you said, Austin, I don't know if technically all of them died from coronavirus, but this is what the article said, that most of the people, a high percentage of the people, were super deficient in vitamin D. And for some reason, that's just a trend. I guess, they just were deficient with that vitamin, which the immune system definitely needs. And that virus is so not easy to get, but it's a higher rate of contraction than the normal flu. So it sees a person that's just, unhealthy with their immune system, and then it just jumps in, and that's how you just go. So as long as you take care of yourself and, stay healthy, take your vitamins, and,
it's ironic, that they want us to stay inside, but the main source of vitamin D comes from being outside.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Okay, well, we can go on walks, all right? So
it's true.
I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying it's ironic. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it is funny. That's true.
You would think, but
but hopefully the hot summer will kill this thing, and then I'm sure it'll come back next season. Like I said, it's just going to be a seasonal flu or whatever, but hopefully we can just stop all the hectic and everything and kill it for a couple months before it comes back, I guess.
And hopefully, our immune systems might have adapted somewhat somehow,
Yeah, because there's a lot of people who had it or have it currently. They don't even know that they do.
Asymptomatic.
They're just asymptomatic, and they're not their body's just dealing with it on its own, and they'll be fine. Who knows? Maybe we all have had it. That everyone here that's talking.
Did you guys have the flu this season?
I have not.
I did.
Okay, because I had December. I remember the day. This is how bad my flu was. December 27th. I got the flu, and my birthday is New Year's, and so I was going to go down to LA with one of my friends for my birthday. And on December 27th, I woke up in the middle of the night. I had In-N-Out for dinner. I woke up in the middle of the night just throwing up. I'm talking couldn't stop 10 times, right? Just going. And I laid in bed for 3 days, couldn't move, sweating, all these symptoms of the coronavirus, sweating, just fever, cough, dry cough, everything I had, right? But I didn't know because it wasn't a big deal. But I went through that for about 3 days. And then after, it was weird. I started having I couldn't get a full breath. I was like,
oh yeah,
couldn't get a full breath. And that's one of the symptoms, but I didn't know any of this yet. So I go to the doctors, and I actually got, they said I had asthma. And so I got an inhaler and everything. Wow. And now after all this, I'm thinking back, I'm like, fuck, I might have had a coronavirus or something.
Before anybody even knew of it.
Yeah, before even, and I think all of California, everyone that had the flu here, a lot of them might have had it because California's coronavirus toll is way lower than it should have been, right? But I think that's because we had it before this was a big deal, and we just fought it, and it was what it was. And I'm not the only one saying this. There's a lot of people that are saying they've had the worst they've ever had, and it was earlier before all this happened. So I think that's a thing. It could have just went through California and before all this was a big deal.
It does make sense since we're on the coast. And
Yeah.
It came
so
first. Yeah.
I hope coming out of this, man, people take a bigger responsibility into their personal health, well-being and stuff, exercise, a good diet.
yeah.
I hope more people realize how important that is,
Yeah. And I'm false claim to that, because before quarantine, then the gyms were open. I would go to the gym 5-6 days a week, eat healthy, blah, blah. Since quarantine, man, hey, I hate working out at home. I can't help now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so out of it, like physically wise. Like, I'm like, damn, I can't wait for the gyms to open up. But I have the eager to, like, when I get back into it, I'll get back into it. I'm pretty in shape when like routine wise and everything. But during quarantine, no. It's just like whatever. Like,
it's been straight jogging for me, man. That's about it.
Yeah. I'm just like, eat whatever. Like, it's just, I need to slow down a little bit. So that's funny that you said that.
Me too.
I think every day I'm like, dang, like, I need to do.
I just already know the gyms are going to be so busy when this whole thing comes, when like everything kind of eases. Oh my God. Like bars, gyms, like restaurants just packed.
It's going to be like the quarantine resolution. It's like quarantine resolution, like your New Year's resolution. But
exactly.
There'll be so much bleach in all these places. It'll smell like a swimming pool.
I know, dude. It's well, it looks like we're about at that time. So Austin, is there anything else you want to say before we get on out?
No, man. I just want to thank you guys. You guys are awesome, and I'm glad I could be on here, man. And if you ever want me back on in the future, I'd be more than happy to be on here again. Or
thank you, man.
Thing you guys need.
Sure.
Here for
Dude, I appreciate it. Yeah, we're here for you too, man. And you'll definitely come back on at some point. We're getting ready to start our second season of the show. We're kind of in an in-between season right now, but yeah, we're going to start that soon. So we'll definitely be in contact. Where could people find you though, if they want to follow you on social media and learn more about you?
Yeah, so you guys can follow me on Instagram at iam.am01, or you guys can follow me on Facebook, Austin Maynard Real Estate, or just you can follow me on my personal or something on Austin Maynard, or you can follow me I have a YouTube channel, Austin Maynard Realtor. So you can find me kind of anywhere. Just look up my name and it'll drag you to it.
Sweet.
So yeah, if you guys know of anyone looking to buy or sell in Sacramento, I'm the guy for you guys. So
nice.
For sure.
See? Yeah. So you listen to the Closers podcast and you get resources. You get people to help you out.
You might even get a house.
You might even get a house. Yeah.
Definitely. But guys, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, man. And we'll be back next week with a very special guest. This next episode may or may not be the last one of our in-between 1.5 or 1B season. Stay tuned and follow us on Instagram at The Closers Podcast, on Facebook at Closers Podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can stay informed when we release new content. I hope you guys stay safe and take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Bye, guys.